Wow, what is the market doing? The stock market is coming down severely and some people are afraid now that there's more to follow. Let's have a closer look what we can expect from the current situation. Can we expect some really deep impact, some really deep losses in the market? Or maybe is there a turnaround, a chance for a turnaround soon coming up? Let's check what the chart is telling us. So stick with me and have a closer look. Yes, indeed. What we've currently seen is not really convincing for the bull market because the market came down in a strong manner and is not giving us a really bullish, positive picture in many indices. So let's have a closer look in this case, starting with the Dow Jones and see what we can expect from here first. The funny thing is that indeed the market is not giving us a really good impression from the last few months. What we've seen here so far from last year, this is May, the May high here last year. You can see that we had a lot of overlapping into the bullish direction. So it is still a bull market. It's still pushing forward. Yeah, well, pushing is not the right word for this, I guess. It is not so much looking like a pushing market. It's more like a, meandering back and forth, but with a positive tone or the positive bias here in this case. So what I would expect from this is that this is typically at the end of a bull market, in this case a bull market, in the end of a trend market, to be honest, as this is a bullish movement, this should be the end of the bull market. But to keep you, without any fear for the big picture, this is not 100% sure that this is indicating a long-term trend ending situation. It can lead to just an intermediate corrective pattern, which may lead us to 33,000, for example, in the Dow Jones index here, or in this case, this is the future contract, the March contract on this one. But roughly the level 33,000, it's not an exact number. You can see it here. If you see it a little bit closer, it can be a little bit above this, a little bit below this. But around this level, around this 33,000, we have some kind of supports. What kind of support is it? It is from some intermediate lows here. You have these intermediate lows from these levels here, and you have the measurement or the size of this last corrective pattern. And if we get something similar to this one, we can expect that the market, in case this will happen again, lead us to this green area. But it is still a green area, so nothing really bad happens as long as we are staying there. You can expect that the market is reaching around these levels, maybe even breaking a little bit. This is not giving us a super negative tone to the market. As long as the market is staying nearby these levels, we still have a good chance that the market will turn in the aftermath for higher prices. 40,000, maybe even 50,000 is still valid, is still possible. Only in case this level is not holding, the market is breaking through these levels here, then we should expect even more to come. And the last really important level is the high in August 2020, roughly around 29,000, a little bit higher, 29,100 roughly. If the market is breaking through this level as well, we have some kind of overlapping in the overall picture, which is really a bad sign. And in case the movement downwards is really strong, not the same like we've seen here in a corrective manner, but a really strong one, breaking through this level, then we may have even more, even below 20,000, even below 18,000 in this case. So this might get really severe in the near future if these levels are broken. But currently, it's not a promise that this will happen. No worries at all. Yeah, well, let's say it like this. You may have worries and secure your position. Maybe you buy some options for this. You can buy some puts just to pre-secure what you have already. Or you can close parts of your position. You can reduce your size of your positions, for example. And you may think of shorting the market in some instances as well, depending on your own trading or investment ideas. However, this is a really important level. Have a closer look at these levels here. As we've talked about this in the past, this is still the same. So nothing worse happened. So this means that the 4-hourly chart we have here, with all these downfalls we've seen here, is not giving us any new impression. It's exactly giving us the idea we've mentioned before. This is not a new picture. We talked about this some weeks before, even some months before, because of this trading pattern here to the upside. So don't be super afraid about what you see here. It is still the same picture and is only the outcome currently from what we've expected before. We have some kind of a support here because of the lower levels here. If I'm drawing this a little bit more correctly here, you may have the impression, okay, we have some support levels here, which may hold the downforce here. In case this is happening, how can we see this, that this will be the case? Just have a closer look at that point here. We need this knowledge for other markets as well. When reaching this level, have a closer look, for example, on a 4-hourly chart, or even 5 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever you prefer. In case in this same box or in this area roughly, the market now is turning in a strong movement, coming back in a weak movement, you can expect that the market at least will continue to the upside once more. But to be honest, only this pattern we've seen here, the ABC pattern we've seen here, is not giving us an indication all the downforce is over and we need to go upwards. It's a new decision made halfway when we are reaching this level here, halfway roughly. You can also see for or check for something like a symmetry. It's not always a really symmetrical situation, but this is very often giving us an indication. This is an ABC, a probable ABC pattern, and when the market is breaking through this level again, we may expect reaching 33,000 again. So this is really crucial whether we get this in the next few days or within the next weeks, maybe within the next week. And when the market is giving us something like this, breaking through this intermediate level here would not be a good sign. At least would lead this situation us to this area here, roughly 33,000. And please keep in mind, even 32,000 might be still possible and still in the area here of the possible turning point. So it is not super convincing currently to buy the stock market, and absolutely, that's absolutely correct. I'm not recommending to buy at the very moment blindly. Of course, if you're a short-term trader willing to react on a short-term trade level as well, you may do something like this. But also in this case, I strongly recommend to wait for some kind of a confirmation for a turning market. This might be something like our system we have here, something like the Born bars. I don't want to discuss this too much, but you have some kind of blue levels here or blue bars here. When the market is breaking out of these levels here, then this is indicating us this might be a start of a good next trade. This is not always working very well, but very often you can see when the market is leaving this area, the market is continuing very strong. In this case, it did not work very well. In this case, you could see breaking through the downside. The market was continuing, and here also to the downside. Here it's more for the upside, downside, and so on. You can see this might be something for you. Not necessarily this system if you don't have the Born bars to your hand, if you want to have something different. But if you have something, in case you have something like a confirmation for turning, then it would ease up the situation for you to enter the market. Currently, I would not recommend to just buy this market and hope for a turning. Another thing might be when the market is coming upwards strong and downwards in a shaky way. So it's the same pattern, but like we always have a closer look. If you don't see it here on a 4-hourly chart, you can maybe see this in a 15-minute or 5-minute or whatever time frame you prefer. If you see something like this on what level of what kind of trading time frame you prefer, you can expect that this will continue at least another time after the corrective pattern. So you may have these intermediate highs as a trigger for entering the long side. In this case also is the same. Don't expect that this small pattern here on a lower time frame is indicating, okay, the next 1,000 or 2,000 points to the upside will follow. It is just giving us an indication that for now the down movement has ended and the market has a chance to go upward. Is there still a chance for moving upward? Yes, it is. It might be something like an ABC pattern here. If you're not aware of this one, because this is a little bit higher, this is exactly the same like you got here, ABC, for example, in a small instance. This is a little bit higher than this one. if you're not trusting this pattern, you may see this in ABC down, ABC up, and here, this is also here overshooting. You can also see here, this is maybe not so clear, but it looks really corrective from the internal structure. This is also ABC. So it's a three-wave pattern, a three-wave into the direction of trend, and the trend was clearly upwards, is not valid. So it should be part of a corrective pattern, which may lead us to something like this. So I think the chance for something like this is really good. The chance for a turning market seems to be absolutely okay. I'm not promising this will happen, but in case this is followed by something like a turning action like we've seen here, will give me some kind of opportunity to enter the market long. And if you wish, you can take profits here in the same size like the first part here. It's an ABC pattern merely you are trading. But if you're thinking, yeah, well, there's a chance for a continuation to the upside, you may only close a certain part here or even keep the complete position running. Or maybe at least you can close half of the position, taking this profit already. Keep the rest in case the market is continuing and you're really happy and the market is turning around again, continuing to the bear side. You will say, okay, I can close the rest of the position here without any profit or loss and have the gains of the profits of the first part here at least, so that you can have some fun with this trading idea in this case. So we still have a chance that the market will continue to the upside. It's not over because this pattern looks a little bit like an overall corrective pattern, which may come to an end soon. It can continue a little bit more like an ABC or like a 5-wave pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the downside here in this case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It looks a little bit better here. So you have an A and B and a C pattern here, which is really typical. Another support level would be the low here from October, or no, it's September, October last year, 21. In case the market is breaking through this level, this is not a really good indication. Shall I enter short the market at that point? I would not recommend this. When the market is breaking or fighting around this level, wait for the next corrective setback, and after that trade the continuation. I really prefer things like this because this is giving you better risk reward ratios and a better probability for your next trade. So I strongly recommend. I shouldn't do any recommendations, by the way, but I recommend to be careful. This is always a valid thing to say, but I think it's a nice idea to wait for a corrective pattern here. It's a confirmation that the bull market, this bull part here of the market, is really weak and it's strong. This is the counterpart could be like this. In this case, you will have no point to enter the market on the bearish side, and on the other side, if you see this and a corrective pattern like this, you will have a good chance to trade the continuation to the upside. So you can see, even not knowing what the future is bringing us, we can see what are the typical entry points for these ideas. So you can see whatever time frame you're looking at, the daily chart, the 4-hourly chart, or even the 15 or 5-minute chart, whatever it is. If you see something like this, this is always giving you some kind of confirmation that this trading idea may work out like you wish to, and the rest is just probability and risk reward ratio in this case. Let's switch to the Nasdaq and see what the Nasdaq is doing. The Nasdaq is also coming down severely. Some people are really negative affected by this because when entering the market at the highest point and seeing now that we saw a drop of at least 30% in this, 13% to make it clear. You can see the numbers here. This is not the best you wish to see the market doing. However, we have some kind of support here around this level because of these lows from early October last year. And so this may support the market a little bit. And on the other side, you can see I have here some kind of, we call it, it's our own indicator here. It's a Born oscillator. But you can use instead, you can use something like an stochastic, for example, slow stochastic, or some people are using the stochastic RSI, for example. Whatever you choose, the momentum in this market seems to allow a turning point around this level, and you can also see here something like the Born bar here as well. So we have a chance that around this level now the market is coming into the other direction, and really important is, will this be variation 1, something like this? We have some trigger here for the bull market. Or is it variation 2, something like this? This is giving us a trigger on the lower side here to enter the market again for short selling and for even lower lows. We should keep in mind that the whole movement from the March 2020, for example, here, did not have a really big, which means a really realistic sized corrective pattern. We only had these small sized patterns here. And in case the market is really doing this, maybe with this movement or maybe on a direct way, this would be really typical, and even seeing the market around 13,000 would not kill the overall bullish picture. So you can see, I know you don't wish for that. I can clearly understand that, of course, but on the other side, this is still something really valid, still even in the bullish picture. More or less around this level here, we will see whether we can expect something like this or a turning here. This is not decided now. Now we have a chance that the market will turn around and come back, depending on what of these price pattern will be the next. Please check it by yourself on the next few days. If you're following BORN-4-Trading, for example, you get my updates anyway, so no worries. Intra-week, if you're alone all the week and waiting for these weekend videos here on YouTube with me, then you should have an open eye for things like this against things like this. You can see, okay, triggering here on the long side, triggering here for the short side, and entering the market. I see some chances from the momentum that the market will turn around and stay upwards, but still keep in mind that even a small and intermediate coming back here, it can be a little bit bigger size, like I've drawn it here. It can be something like this ABC pattern as well, and then turning around. But always, if you have some breaking through this intermediate levels here, expect that we can get something similar to this again. This is a little bit too big drawn maybe, but more or less what I've drawn here might be something really important. So what about the broad market? Because we were talking about the Nasdaq and the Dow Jones and S&P 500, which all of them contain different set and in a different relation, but the big names of the market. What is this with the broad market? You can see the Russel. In this case, it's also the future. I'm always showing here the futures for the American market, also the March contract in this case. And you can see from last year, this is the 1st February, and this is somewhere end of January. You can see that the market since 1 year is not moving back and forth, but most of the time around this level. So the US stock market did not have a great time by itself. It was only, or most of it, some few very famous stocks like Apple, for example, Tesla, for example. Even Amazon did not move so well in the last last year. Because it was more or less moving to the sideways. In this case, you can see that the broad market was not moving to the upside anymore. It went down quite strongly in the last few days and is doing something really typical, retracing into the area of the Fibonacci levels, for example, 38.2, 50, maybe 61.8. So I would expect that the market has a really good chance to enter this area. Maybe it will not overdo it. Maybe it's not the very low part here. It might be the upper part here around, let's say 1900 for the Russell 2000. This is not given, but we can try to estimate things like this also by using some kind of other measurements. For example, the one-on-one projection. This is the first part of the down move. If you have this on the second one, so this is the same length than this one. This is also leading us roughly into this area here. Maybe, I did not check this before. No, I don't think this is helping us very much. Maybe this one may give us also some kind of support. You can see some kind of Fibonacci extensions is always also giving us some idea that around this level, this is not a pinpoint level. Please don't get this, where exactly is it? What point is it? It is more like roughly around this level. The market has some kind of support. As long as the market is staying above this level, we have a very nice chance that this overall pattern we've seen here is over now and is continuing to the upside, roughly. But in case the market is just plunging through this and not holding at this level, or is only holding in a really corrective manner, then you should definitely expect something more to come. And I know some of you are really fundamentally driven with your trading decisions or your investment decisions, thinking of what the market is doing on the Fed ideas currently. So please expect that the market has a good chance, by all the political background, the monetary policy background we have currently, that the market has some more drops to expect. I want to keep it here with the indices, but finally want to show the Nikkei 225, which is the main index for the Tokyo market. You can see that this index is coming down also, which is not a surprise. We were talking about this very often. This looks corrective pattern like, this looks corrective pattern like, and I would expect that the market needs to reach something like 26,000, maybe 25,000 here. And from that levels, we would have a really nice opportunity to turn around, but it's not currently given that the market needs wants to come around. It may not reach this level. How can I decide this as early as possible? Have a close look on the right end of the chart, for example, in a daily chart, or even on a 4-hourly or 5-minute, whatever you prefer. If you see a strong movement followed by an ABC pattern, you may trade at least one time more. Same like here in a shaky to the downside, expect some continuation. If you get something in an ABC pattern, or very often overlapping, you can see overlapping here patterns. So always this is overlapping here in this case. If you see something like this here, this is not a buying opportunity. This is just an opportunity to sell short again, expecting that the market will continue to the downside once more. So that's it from my side. I hope this is helping you for your own trading decisions. It's a fast one for today, but I hope this is not giving you a bad mood. Of course, we have a chance that the market is doing either way. The most important thing is have a closer look, not having a bad feeling about what the market is doing so far. We have some kind of support levels ahead, so it's not that the market does not have something like a safety line or something, but I don't want to see the market is going through this level strongly and just see something in the corrective pattern in the upside way. If the market is doing this, I'm really afraid the market will give us more for the downside, more force to the selling side in this case. As long as the market is turning and doing this in a strong movement and coming back only in a shaky way, this is giving us a good opportunity to enter the market, pile up positions, or re-enter market or piling positions whenever you closed some or reduced some to hope for the next big move again. So crossing my fingers for you, stay well and trade successfully, hoping to see you soon. So please don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up in case you like this video. See you soon. Bye bye.